And then finally, once you've done all that work, you do want to tell people what you're doing. So that's always a key component. So ensure that you really think about that reporting phase as well. What is right size for your business? And think about what do you have to do? So what is the compliance you might have to already report on that might be coming in? So if it's not there yet, think about what is coming your way in the next 1, 2, 3 years so that you get ready. Think about if you want to report on ESG standards, which ones? GRI, SASB, CDP, there's a whole range of them, and why. So really think that through. Think about, are you already doing a sustainability report? Are you planning to do one? And what a shape and form that is? And how does that link back to any of the ESG standards or the compliance? And what does your business require more internally? So does your board want to report every quarter, every board meeting every month? Who knows what it might be? But think about who needs that information and how you're setting up measurement and data collection system, but also what do you need to report more internally to make sure, like to your point, Christine, about project management, that people are across what's happening. And then with that, think about realistic timeframes, think about resourcing. So it can take a lot of time reporting. So start on time and work your way back from where you need to be. So if you know the report is due at the end of the calendar year, work your way back from when do you need to start and what do you need to put in place. And also, who is going to do all that work? Because sometimes there's quite a bit involved in that. And then, as we've said, so reporting is that final step. Often, if you go through this journey, you've done all these things you want to report. It's the output of all the other things there. But we'll look in a minute as well at how some companies, to your point earlier, Christine, like sometimes start with reporting and then suddenly everything else falls in place. What are you, from your perspective, what you see companies do from a reporting perspective? What are some of the, the good and the not so good practices, so to say, around reporting?
Yeah. So first, you need to think about reporting broadly. There's, of course, some companies will be subject to regulatory reporting, particularly in Europe, and you have regulatory reporting coming up in California over the next few years. There's some industry reporting. So there's that whole framework to it. There's also, the companies can opt into frameworks, so a GRI, or a carbon disclosure project, or be invited to do or required to do something like an EcoVadis report by their clients. And then there's just the voluntary reporting that you put out on your website. And the thing I always kind of caution around reporting a little bit, it's absolutely critical that you drive transparency to your stakeholders. That's ultimately, we started with the assessment in the beginning, figuring out what is it that your clients and your investors and your employees expect. If you don't do any reporting, then they won't know what you're up to. But if you pile on all of these different frameworks and do something kind of customized for each, you won't at the end of the year, you won't get any actual action done. I mean, that you'll spend all of your time reporting. So you have to be kind of strategic about how much you take on, and absolutely right size it to your company. I like to talk about the minimum viable report. And for me, that is, the report where you're just focusing on what is the key data that my stakeholders need in order to realize, yes, you're running a committed, responsible business that's addressing the major risks and opportunities related to ESG. And going back to, that's why it lines up with the assessment in the beginning and then the strategy. You've picked your particular areas, and then that's what you're focusing in on your report. And it can be a little bit different approach. For a long time, this kind of reporting was in the domain of marketing, and the reports kind of got very large. And we had a lot of marketing professionals that were really dedicated and passionate about doing those. And if you're a marketing professional and you're on here, I don't want to pick on you at all. But you have to, if you're coming into this from a new perspective and you're just building a program, you need to take the step slowly instead of overcommitting to reporting, realizing that it's going to it'll consume resources that you could otherwise spend on action. So you have to hit that balance between transparency, providing your stakeholders what they need, and over investing time and resources in a reporting exercise.